Good morning. West Ham, how on earth did they not score and score earlier? I was watching, they had two or three come off the line. It was just bizarre. But a real warning to you about new manager syndrome. Who'd have thought Ruud van Nistelrooy could unlock 3 goals for this Leicester City team? It's quite simply the new manager bounce. I wouldn't be taking that as a sign of Leicester's survival. West Ham got a 59th minute goal, which would have been perfect for us, and that would have really just cleaned things up. On a simpler note, when you've got a red card, as Northampton did, you're looking for a reaction. Got that from Stevenage. Eventually, they broke through and they managed to get 2 goals. Grimsby and Accrington. Well, we got our 2 goals from Accrington. Grimsby were 2-0, 3-0 up very, very early for a 2.4 the favourite match, and with an Accrington scoring 2+ goals in each of the last 5 matches, it was extremely good value. We got the 2 goals from Accrington, but they decided to concede 5 in the meantime. And there seems to be a running theme that you'd be profiting if you're going neutral. Leicester, West Ham, Grimsby, Accrington. So that's something to think about. I would love to do a live stream based purely on neutral markets. That would be a very interesting experiment. That way, we're not going to get the heartache if West Ham don't score. We're going to anticipate a West Ham goal. And in this case, you could have done so, as we did with Ipswich and Crystal Palace, backing over 1.5 goals at the beginning of the second half at an extremely good for the market, 2.98, particularly with these two with a reputation for score draws. Crystal Palace did get the goal, and that is a rather nice 31. So had we done that with Leicester, we could have done that second half. Something to think about. It's 1-0 at half time. You back over 2.5 goals second half and look for that single goal between the 46th and the 70th minute. Well, there it is. That would have yielded you the profit where we ended up with heartache because of that 59th minute West Ham goal disallowed. That would have changed the whole complexion of the match. That would have made it 2-1 and off we go. Mallorca and Barcelona should have laid the draw second half, and I was trying to get the message to you, but I'm afraid the in-play guru was messing with my head. It kept telling me a scoreline 5, 6, 7 times in a row, and it's just getting very, very annoying. I hope they fix that. It was an obvious bounce back after the Las Palmas match. Laying the draw second half after a more or better break. Had to win because it was getting a bit difficult up the top. Well, I put a gap on Real Madrid, but Real Madrid have two games in hand. So it really was a must win because at Real Madrid winning those two, they're going to go top again. Must win territory for Barca after that very, very unexpected Las Palmas loss. And yet again, that could have been salvaged, that Las Palmas loss, by going neutral. So something to think about. Elsewhere yesterday, predominantly a cup day, and another lesson to learn. Do you trust the cup? Well, we could trust English League One. Bolton, coming from behind, helped ably by that red card, but still making a decent return there. Could have made an even better return had I not just stopped off at +1. The reason I stopped off at +1 is because of the league. Don't trust it. But had we gone match odds, you'd have cleaned up a lot better there. So there's always that choice. +1 covers the draw. Match odds gives you a chance of a far greater. We're talking 50, 60, 70 quid instead of 28.55 when you get it right. Charlton did get the second half goal as we expected. If we look at English League One, you will see. And this is something you can dig out for yourself again from a neutral perspective. So the theme being neutral, i.e. we're not pinning our hopes to one team. We're looking for goals. And this would have been an excellent second half angle. So we've got 33 minutes. We've got a Charlton renowned for scoring second half. Look at this. 15 of 18 goals scored in League One have come second half. We can split that into home and away, of course, and it's still impressive. 7 goals scored in the last half hour, but they did concede to Crawley for the first time. Well, the second time only all season Crawley have scored a second goal away. And that is a gentle reminder to you of the league we're playing in. I did warn you in the Telegram live stream, once we head down to League One, League Two, you might get the odd hiccup. Elsewhere, let's have a look. A major focus on odds on favourites. Bradford equaliser. Again, doing your research, could have made a good argument for a Bradford equaliser with Barrow scoring first. I don't like 1.91 favourites. They're not rock solid favourites, but they did get the equaliser, as indeed, if you go to English League Two, the challenge table would have suggested as much. So that could have given you the impetus to have a look for a Bradford equaliser. Where are they? Here they are. So let's have a look at their home form. This is the importance of this challenge table. Look at all that. It's solid stuff. So you're expecting something against 13th, aren't you? Particularly a Barrow who seem to have trouble scoring that second goal away from home. Done it only once. So that, I hope you followed in that. If you had confidence in what I was saying, trying to build up a good case for taking on the Barrow lead. And we've got the odds on favourite, so we know that already. Tranmere, well, just a bit of fun with Tranmere. I don't know if I saved it here, but I backed Tranmere at about 10s to 12s when it was 1-2, looking just for that equaliser, and we got out nice and quickly. It was £5 stake, got out with a double figure profit, so happy with that. So all in all, English League One, English League Two delivering pretty much, particularly if you cashed out at that single goal for Charlton. And yet again, if you're thinking neutral, go up the market. What do I mean? If it's 0-1, if it's 0-0 at half time, you go 1.5 goals, as long as it's over evens. If it's 0-1 at half time, over 2.5 goals, and you're looking for that single goal between the 46th and the 70th minute. You would have got that there, expecting Charlton to have scored as well, because of that huge record of scoring away goals. But this is typical of English League One, English League Two. Some of these odds-ons are going to fall foul. It's because of the quality or lack thereof of the league. But apart from West Ham, it's a pretty good day. And don't forget the Professional Development League. Knowing my luck, of course, I would have been piling into Cardiff under-21s against Bournemouth under-21s. All the while, Charlton under-21s, 9 goals, 6 goals, 7 goals, 9 goals. They're really upping the goals tallies now. So watch out. And if you did an over 2.5 goals, you'd have been very unlucky. Accumulator, very unlucky with Cardiff, Bournemouth. Was there anything there to suggest unders? I'm not sure. But it is a 74% over 2.5 goal league. Well, that was unders. That was a cup, so you ignore that. And generally speaking, it's as you were, isn't it? Both teams scoring and over 2.5 goals, as you expect from that league. It's a busy day today. I might be meeting friends later on, old school friends. I haven't got a phone call just yet. But if I'm not meeting them, I'm up for another either Telegram chat or a YouTube chat, whichever one you'll find better. Looking at the Premier League, again, can we look at this neutrally? If we can't trust these teams to score, we got the new manager syndrome for Leicester, and in future, watch out for that. You should really leave those matches alone. That was a typical bounce, new manager bounce. Everton and Wolves, well, Everton are likely to be aiming for 2 goals here. I think Wolves are the kind of side you can score 2 goals against. Everton have done that in the past. Wolves are scoring as well. This could alternatively Knowing Everton, be one of their snooze fest matches. It's very difficult to read which toffee turns up. Failing to score, wow, in the last 4 matches. So they are reverting to type. So that is not good form coming into this, is it? Failing to score in 4. Are they really going to score the 2 goals, the kind that you saw earlier on in the season? 2 against Bournemouth, 2 against Crystal Palace. Donny, 3. No, they didn't score 3 there. But they had that little run of scoring 2+ goals. You thought that Sean Dyche could unlock, but no. Wolves, well, they're even worse at the moment. So it's hard to trust these 2 sides, isn't it? So that's why maybe neutral might be the avenue. Wolves are scoring, that's for sure. 4, 2, 3. But it's alarming that you're scoring 6 goals, 5 goals in 2 matches, and you didn't come out with, you came out with 1 point out of 6. Oh dear. Manchester City must win territory for them. Come on, the Chris Wood. I'm rooting for Pep Guardiola to make it double figures without a win. You're only 3 away, Pep. Or is it 2 away? Come on, you can do it. Nottingham Forest, I'm going to give them a good run for their money today. Must win territory for Manchester City now. They are far, far better at home. So Nottingham Forest have to be very careful. Newcastle and Liverpool. Well, Newcastle lost 0-2 at home to West Ham. Liverpool far, far more accomplished than West Ham. So just got to be a little wary with Newcastle at the moment. It's not that consistency that they're seeing, and the manager alarmingly mentioning a lack of confidence, but surely that's his job to instill that confidence. 2 poor results. Beating Nottingham Forest, that's no great shakes. Great result against Arsenal. You'd have thought that could be the catalyst to the season, but no. Poor stuff. Newcastle at home. That West Ham defeat came out of nowhere, really. You'd have thought they'd, as I say, push on after that Arsenal win. Very, very good win. A confidence booster. It should have been, but no. Liverpool, there's no stopping them at the moment. 2 consecutive 2-3 away wins. But they are scoring and conceding in away matches. So we can look forward to the possibility of Newcastle scoring first. I would certainly, in Liverpool's case, take on any Newcastle lead. And if you wanted to get an idea of what the market thinks about goals, well, you can have a quick look here. For example, Professional Development League, 74% over 2.5 goals. And it's about 1.3 for overs. Here, over and under, go to the 2.5. Just give you a gauge. So it's about even Stevens, pretty much. So that's not a strong overs candidate, is it? Manchester City, Nottingham Forest in stark contrast. I would expect the over 2.5 goals to be a lot shorter. 1.53, there we go. Stark contrast with the first match where it was evens. So that might give you an idea as to matches to focus on from a neutral perspective. And that's something I might start putting into the research. It's just the over 2.5 goal odds. Because I like working football matches by their odds. Can we work the overs markets by their odds as well? Southampton and Chelsea. This is an away banker, surely. Although the Saints were very, very unlucky not to get a win against Brighton, that goal looked okay. So very disappointed, the boys in pink. Saints at home, well, I can't see it myself. Chelsea, the kind of side who can put out a completely different first 11 in Europe to the Premier League. Quite astounding. Arsenal, very, very short odds against Manchester United. Don't forget the new manager syndrome. We've just seen that with Ruud van Nistelrooy. We've got a new manager for Manchester United. You ignore the Den Haag form and you're looking at a 1-1, 3-2 win and a 4-0. But let's look at the teams they've played. It's been a bit of a softball for the new manager. Ipswich, he should have got the win. Let's be honest. Come on. Bodo Glimt, Put a little bit of gloss on it for Bodo Glimt. It was an emphatic win. They didn't come from behind. They did a 1-2, and that showed some battling spirit. That's what we'd like to be seeing in more Manchester United matches. That's the kind of Fergie fight back. Really superb stuff against Everton. All you can do is beat who's in front of you. Got Rashford working, got Xerxes working. Good stuff. So that's interesting, isn't it? Got him scoring now. Xerxes and Rashford. Garnacho, add him to the mix. And it's a very exciting Man U, but they haven't really played any elite side just yet, have they? Under the new manager. But new manager syndrome, you saw it with Leicester City. That suggests to me that this 1.4 is a tad short for me. Aston Villa and Brentford. Well, Aston Villa, like Manchester City, they are ruining their participation in the Champions League because the wheels have just fallen off. This is exactly the same as Manchester City. It's too many high-profile Champions League matches too early in the season. The format has completely messed with the amount of football this lot are playing. Look, 26th, 30th, 3rd, 6th, 9th, every 3 days. It's appalling. Then we get an international break. How are you going to survive? Look. So now we can't trust Aston Villa anymore. We used to be able to trust them. And they're drawing at home. They failed to score in the last home. That was against Juventus, to be honest. But conceding 2 goals against the Crystal Palace, who rarely score 2 goals, that is a concern as well. I would ignore the EFL Cup. I'm sure Dick Emery's got bigger fish to fry than the EFL Cup. But it's alarming at Aston Villa. 2 consecutive draws in the Premier League at home. Concerns. Brentford, never know what to do with Brentford, but away from home, the Bees look a little wobbly, don't they? So it's a difficult match to unpack. Will the real Aston Villa turn up today? Ajax against Utrecht in the Eredivisie would be expecting of the home side. I think if you look at Barcelona's emphatic win yesterday, maybe these Champions League sides are starting to return to reliability. Atletico Bilbao and Real Madrid is going to be an absolute humdinger. I cannot discount Atleti. They got us a very nice profit the other day. Even better had you gone into the match odds. 46 quid. Not bad. Fascinating match. Very difficult to read. Atletico Bilbao in superb form. Real Madrid blowing hot and cold is what I would say about them. Atleti, look at this. It's good stuff. It's like Fiorentina putting together a really solid run. But look at the teams they've played. Any real scalps? Not necessarily. It's been a bit of an easy ride, but Real Sociedad are involved in Europe, as are Real Betis. Looking at Real Madrid away, that lost to Liverpool, lost to Lille in the Champions League. So they're only really losing to Champions League sides away from home at the moment, as you can see, and those are friendlies, so we ignore them. So unbeaten in La Liga away from home. Interesting. Only tending to lose to Champions League sides. Fascinating match. Let's see what overs are looking like. Probably a little bit skinny. With the expectation for goals. No, 1.89. Very non-committal. Due deference to Atletico Bilbao. They are in superb form at the moment. We've got a whole raft of cup matches, but you saw yesterday, quite simply, the German sides and the Spanish side, Espanyol, couldn't be bothered despite dominating. So we've got to be very careful with the cup, particularly this Belgian cup. And let's have a look at a few other countries. Well, not the cup, but the Czech one leg. It is a league football, so it's not the cup. Dukla Prague, newly promoted, could be vulnerable today. Jablonec odds on at home. That's what I like to see. That's far better for me than a 1.91 at home. You've got greater expectations here with Jablonec against Ceska Budějovice. English League One, Birmingham, Stockport, Peterborough, when they're odds on at home. they are very much worth following. Really good odds on side, Peterborough. So I'm looking forward to that one. As far as reliability is concerned, Birmingham, odds on against Stockport. Let's research one of these matches. Premier League, Championship, English, League One. Birmingham and Stockport. Let's have a look at this one. Why are Birmingham favourite? Is it because of Stockport's league position? I don't know the league that well, so research would always help. Only 2 defeats all season have come away from home for Brum. Only 3 defeats all season for Stockport. Stockport on a run of 4 wins in 5, albeit 3 of them coming at home. Looking at the challenge, looking at the current streaks and sequences, no defeats, 7 at home, scoring in the last 7 at home. Brum, so you'd be expecting a goal from them. You might be expecting a goal from Stockport, scored in the last 8 away matches on a run of 3 consecutive wins as well. Good stuff. This is a top 5 clash, so for me, Birmingham's odds look a tad short with that in mind. Notably, though, Stockport have not played the top 7 away from home yet, so we haven't got that gauge. But against 8th to 12th away from home, they haven't managed to get that win. They haven't scored that second goal away either. They're far more accomplished at home against the top 7 than away. Birmingham at home against the top 7 are unbeaten, not conceding that second goal either. So Birmingham will be feeling confident here, but there is a question mark. We don't know how Stockport turn up against the top 7 away. They could change their tactics against top 10, for example. So in that regard, we haven't got any gauge for Stockport. We've got a Birmingham, though, unbeaten at home against the top 7. 69% of Birmingham goals have come second half. So if it's 0-0 at half time, you might want to back over 1.5 goal. If you can get over evens, as you saw with the Crystal Palace, it's very effective. Just the 1 goal, you can get a really good return. So an interesting match. You'd be favouring Birmingham on their consistent scoring against the top 7, particularly that win against First, who really battered Stockport. So those odds might be justified here for Brum today. Certainly strong at home. Stockport lead might be gettable. English League 2, well, I don't like the markets, so we'll look at that in play. But I can do Fleetwood and Doncaster for you in English League 2. Have a quick look at that one. So Premier League, Championship, League 1, League 2. This will just give you an idea if there are any angles, if you've got a 2.5 goal bias, or if you've got goals before half time, you've got second half goals, that kind of thing. Certainly couldn't trust these two. 3 defeats, plays 4 defeats. Fleetwood have only lost 1 home match, and that was a 0-1. But they are having trouble scoring. They've had a couple of home 0-0s recently, and a 1-0 and a 0-1. So it's very much gone unders at home recently. Doncaster on a run of 3 consecutive draws, a 0-0 in the last away. Fleetwood a 0-0 in the last home. I don't like that at all. Can we trust goals? It was a couple of 1-2 wins prior to that for Donny. No defeat in 5 away for Doncaster as well. So they do like it on the road. But the challenge table will tell you the kind of teams they've been playing. It's 14th against 5th. That stands out for Fleetwood. 2-6 away win against Walsall. But generally speaking, there's no second goal at home against the top 10. So that might be a concern for Fleetwood. Doncaster look adept, but it's very strange form. Very strange form. You can beat First 2-3, scoring 3 goals against First and 7th. But then you get tonked by 16th and 18th. That pretty much epitomises the lack of consistency in these leagues, which makes them tough to trust. Professional Development League, well, you know the drill. Highly likely to be over 2.5 goals. You're likely to be getting a bit skinny with the overs odds. So be creative. 1.33. Delay. If you can get 15 minutes out of the first half, back over 2.5 goals, or wait for 0-0 or 1-0 at half time. If it's 0-0, back over 1.5 goals. If it's 1-0, back over 2.5 goals. DBF Pokal today. Werder Bremen turned up, got a very late goal, but Bayer Leverkusen, I suppose, scored against 10 men. It's a lot of Bundesliga sides today. Leipzig, they are in a spot of bother. I'm sure they don't want a cup run. They've got to solve this defensive issue. You've conceded 4 here and 5 here. What on earth's going on? And guess what's in the middle? The Champions League. That's the reason. The wheels have fallen off yet another side. Celtic are scoring 3 against you. Hoff are scoring 4. Wolfsburg are scoring 5. Something has gone seriously amiss at Leipzig. It used to be all roses, but this is awful. I don't know the reason. So maybe a neutral play today. It's the cup. Maybe some respite for them. We've got the SPL today as well. Rangers and Celtic are both out. Normally give a good account, but Aberdeen are pretty good at home at the moment. So this is going to be an intriguing affair. It's going to be a bit of brass monkeys up in Scotland. But look at this form for Aberdeen. Goodness me. And it continues. Unbelievable, Jeff. Has Alex Ferguson taken over again at the Dons? This is superb stuff. 2-1 win against Rangers as well as a standout here. So I think they're going to give Celtic a really good run for their money, but Celtic away are superb as well. Only that one aberration against Dortmund. So this is going to be a fascinating clash. The new kids on the block, breaking the old firm. And how? Top 2, Aberdeen. So I wouldn't be as dismissive as the bookmakers have been, that's for sure. A side in exceptional form. Rangers, you can tell, 3rd in the league. They're not the side of old, but they're putting together some really good European results, which is a strange one for me. Beating Nice emphatically, a draw with Olympiacos, who were in the one of the European finals last year. Well, they're getting it mixed up with their stadium being in the European finals. So only winning 1-0, scoring a single goal only in 3 of the last Premier League matches. So I don't think Rangers are a trustable side at the moment. Copa del Rey, just be careful, please. Espanyol absolutely dominated. Barbosta, I think it was, who scored first via a penalty. You were expecting all day long an Espanyol equaliser. So maybe if you're going to be disciplined, stay out of the cup. That is the simplest way not to lose money in those competitions. Swiss Cup continues. A lot of Super League sides. Young boys might give us a run for our money. Basel have been in good form. Turkish Cup as well. Got some Turkish Super League sides out and about, but again, I would prefer a focus on league football. Have a great day. I hope to see you later on. It does look a good coupon, but I am in Guernsey for a very short period. If I get the opportunity to meet friends, then I'll have to take it. So my apologies in advance if I can't do any telegram for you this evening. But if we don't have any issues, if I'm not going out, I will be on hand from, it looks like, probably 7 p.m. onwards to keep an eye on Ajax. Have a great day.